Looks like we're rolling. Welcome back to Todd Kramer Art and Seasons Greetings. This, my friends, is the Todd Kramer Art Christmas Special. And as if you couldn't tell, you know, I'm keeping it festive. I got my wassail, and I've got some beautiful, elegant, sophisticated, complex Christmas candles to go over with you all today. That's right, it's another candle episode. I know this channel is primarily to showcase my art. However, I like to dip my toe into the water of the Candleverse. And here I am yet again. I had a great time doing it with the Halloween episode, so here we are. But art will not be forgotten. I do have a special piece to show you all at the end. Again, if you all are interested, go to toddkramerart.com. That will lead you to my Etsy shop where I have a number of prints and originals available, which will be exponentially growing as I continue into the new year. That said, yeah, we'll get on with the show. Stick around. Here we go. Let's go. Let's do this. All right, we're going to kick things off with a company called Brass Coffin. Now, Brass Coffin is a candle company out of Washington State. I've been itching to get a hold of some Brass Coffin for a while, and I finally did it this holiday season. I got a couple excellent candles. One of which just knocked it right out of the park. They all kind of did, but this one I've been rocking. So I'm going to show it to you right now. And that is Spirit of the Season. Come on. Come on, guys. Look at that. Now, you'll notice it says Washington Wicks down there. The company was formerly called Washington Wicks. It's changed to Brass Coffin. So this is, you know, I'm not sure if this is a flagship candle for her or not, but it's one she's had on offer for a while. And this beautiful artwork is by artist and musician Joseph Vargo. And she does a handful of candles with his artwork. And it's look at that. That is just incredible. I mean, so the label got me on this one. Now, it was kind of interesting when I was reading through the scent notes on all the different candles on offer on our site. This one, I think it just says something along the lines of everything Christmassy, or everything. There's like no other notes at all. And I just took her word for it. I'm like, I'm gonna take your word for that. I mean, that label alone is gonna kill it for me. And once I got it and I sniffed this bad boy right here, it lived up to that. Everything Christmassy is very apt. So let's give it a sniff. I don't have any notes and I have nothing prepared here. I'm just winging it. We're keeping it real. I got the wassail. Got the wassail here. We're relaxed. I'm on Christmas break. Let's enjoy this. God almighty, that's good. Whew. Goosebumps instantly. Oh man, there is okay, so you get that sweet balsam. Not that harsh, not the pine sol, the sweet balsam. But, and I just noticed this now. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it. I smell a little bit of graham cracker in here. It kind of gives me Trick or Treat vibes from Goose Creek. And it really does. There's now, you know, there might be that cinnamon in there, but if you get Trick or Treat from Goose Creek, has a very heavy graham crackery flavor or smell flavor. Yeah, I'm just eating these things. No. not the chocolate or anything like that, just that one note, and then you put like a nice soft balsam tree on layered behind it, kind of like the base. And you got, oh man, this is good. And this throws, so this is a one wick, kind of a smaller, you know, it's formidable, but it's not some of these big boys that you're gonna see later on. So, but this filled my living room, and I was pleasantly surprised on that. So these types of candles I might burn in the studio because it's a smaller space, and it'll do wonders in the studio. But this did well in a big open concept, you know, living room. So, man. So, okay, we're kicking it off. We're kicking it off right with Spirit of the Season from Brass Coffin, which, you know, formerly Washington Wicks. Go on to the next. So that's one. Let's count these out. So let's see where we're going. And we might have some other ones sprinkled in if I'm feeling sassy. But let's see. We got the 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 10. We got 10. All right, good. I got a kind of another one over there. I'm gonna push off to more of a winter. So I'm having fun with these candle visits, as if you couldn't tell. So I might be doing more of these. I gotta confuse my life as much as I can, you know. Try to focus on art. Now I'm sniffing candles on the internet. Who knows? You know, I'm still focusing on art, but I don't know. It just seems work. You only watch so many time lapses, I guess. But hey, we got one for you, so stay tuned on that. Okay, we're gonna go to another new one for the season, and yeah, we'll do another new one, and then another old one, and then a new one. So I'm going to that Goose Creek, down the chimney. Look at that classic vintage label on this bad boy. Oh, there's our homeboy, Santa Claus, just dropping down that chimney. Let's give it a sniff, shall we? That is good. That is unique for Christmas. So, as it might suggest, with Santa coming down the chimney, you're getting that soot. You're getting that burnt ember, that smoke scent. I use this too much, but it works. It's a sweet smoke scent, so you're not getting a ton of ash. You're not getting that harsh edge of an ash. You're getting a very tobacco-y, pipe tobacco, smoky scent. This could very well be translated as a Halloween candle. You put a different label on this thing, and you got yourself an excellent Halloween candle. That said, it's not foreboding at all. It's very warm. It's inviting. So it does work well for the Christmas season. There's also something, they almost smell like a living room or something. That's hard. I mean, like, Todd, you're stretching. You're smelling living rooms. Hear me out. It reminds me of going to my grandparents' house, the ones that didn't smoke. And that's not, you're the one that smokes. That's a different smell. But another set of grandparents that didn't smoke, but they did have a ton of antiques. My grandfather was an antique dealer, and it reminds me of. It does. It reminds me of an antique shop. Like you go into an antique shop with a little bit of pipe tobacco smoke in the air. Wow. I just got that now. See, this was kind of fun doing this. When you try to search for words, it draws out different memories for you. Wow. All right. Let's go to a classic. Let's go to a classic. All right. You know there's going to be Yankees on here. And partly because, you know, like in where I live in New England, there was a time, there was like, you couldn't go into any type of shopping area without a Yankee hanging around. It's the gateway drug of candles. It's the Yankee Candle. Go and sniff your heart away in those stores, and you know that's before I got into this candleverse business. That's kind of where it all started. So we're going with that holiday zest. Look at this. The soldier's halfway done. Look at that. Wow, right on the line between Yankee and Candle. I almost don't want to burn it. Look at that. I love this scent. I love it. It as the aforementioned wassail drink. Now this is an iced wassail. You can get wassai's usually like a malt, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, but kind of like a spiced wine that is for offer in the holidays. Very festive. Lots of cinnamon and clove and orange peel and all sorts of stuff in it, and it's warms the heart and the spirits, and that's exactly where this is aiming. Is that holiday? Is the zest? So this is very indicative of what you're going to smell. You're going to smell that orange peel, but first. You get like a cinnamon citrus. You get the cinnamon citrus and a clove, a very heavy clove. And I love clove. We all love clove here, don't we? If you're into these types of scents, you're into Halloween and Christmas, you love that clove. And this thing is rocking. This is kind of one of my new favorites. Not new. I mean, I've been burning this for a while, but like usually with Christmas, I kind of lean towards traditional kind of Christmas tree scents, but this is definitely a new kind of thing I aim for when I smell when I'm smelling Christmas candles. Yankee Candle holiday zest. Let's go something new. I've talked about this one before. I'll talk about it again because I ain't afraid to repeat myself. Who cares? We're going with South of Sanity Christmas Bonfire. Oh man. So this is kind of good. Wow. So I haven't burned this one yet because I've been melting the wax melt. So I have the wax melts of this. I've been kind of saving this bad boy. So I'm gonna start burning this week for sure. But the thing that's crazy about South of Sanity's candles and Virgil's, you know, ability to make a strong candle is you can just open this up, put it next to you. It's like it's lit. You can smell it. It's amazing. But this sucker is amazing. Now, it does what I like about this, but it adds a smoke note to it. And that just sets it over the top for me. It's 2 wicks. This sucker's gonna. This ain't for the faint of heart. You put one of these on, you're gonna smell it. You are going to smell it. It's not like some of, you know, you get a Yankee every once in a while, you're like, where's the beef? No, these suckers throw, okay? There's no joke. They throw. And like I said, I had this down in the studio for a while, just open here. And I could smell it. I can smell it. It's amazing. Now let's get into it a little deeper. So it's got that Christmas spice, but it's not as spicy as the zest in a good way, because that smoke kind of dampens that spice. It kind of rounds out those edges, and it kind of grounds it. what's that? There's something kind of cashmere-y about it as well, like a blanket or wool. I don't think that's intended. I think that might be due to the um, the mixology, if you will, or the blend. But Christmas Bonfire is definitely one of my new favorites for sure. Uh, I got a little thing here to share with y'all. So another new candle company that I'm really impressed with is Witch Nose Candles. And they came out with a whole winter lineup. It wasn't really tilted towards Christmas, but we all know it's like, for the Christmas launch. It's more winter based. So I'm thinking of doing a kind of a winter themed candle review, if you will, later on. So I want to save some of those for that. But I did want to talk briefly about Churchyard. So you'll see it's just it's a kind of a hefty wax melt here. So they have on offer these items called witch whiffs, which for a couple bucks, they'll send you kind of like a sampler, if you will. Now, many of you that, if you're watching this, you've probably seen other candle reviews, and Chance and Virgil have gone over their winter lineup, and everything in there sounded really good. So I didn't want to I only have so much fun, so I wanted to smell them all. So I got all of the witch whiffs for the winter lineup, and they're all pretty incredible. I'll be honest, but Churchyard, I think, is definitely a standout for me. Oh man, so this is, if you smelt this, you wouldn't think immediately Christmas, but if you've ever been to like a midnight mass or anything like that, I grew up. My father's was Catholic, and his parents were Catholic, and they would bring me to church sometimes, and you'd smell the incense, and I always love incense, and the church incense has a particular smell, and this definitely brings me back there in a good way, not in a good way. And there's also something kind of serene and calm about this scent. So, Churchyard. Not necessarily a Christmassy candle or Christmassy scent, but I feel it fits. It reminds me of, going to midnight mass and during the Christmas season. Churchyard. Witch Nose Candles, check them out for sure. They do, I don't know, seasonal drops. They probably have one coming up in February, I imagine, but definitely check them out. Okay, we're soldiering on here. I think I got more than 10 actually, because I don't think I counted that when I counted the candles. But anyway, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Okay. I think we'll take it back to another classic again. We're going back to that Yankee for Home for the Holidays. Look at that bear. Isn't that nice? Isn't that cozy little bear? Man, now, back in the day, when I go into Yankee for the holiday season, and this is before I got into small batch candle companies and stuff, so don't shame me for the name. We all burn Yankees every so often, but why am I getting self-conscious here? That's so weird. Anyway, I never really gravitated towards this, but a couple years ago, something hit, and I was like, this is amazing. It's hard to describe the scent though. It has a bit of a tree note. But there's like a kind of like a potpourri-ish smell. Almost incensey. It almost has a little bit of an incense into it. And a little bit of berry in the very, very back, but it's higher on the nose. It's a little bit more sharp. But like anything I like, it usually it's sharp, but it's not killing you. There's something there that's tampering it a little bit. It has a little bit of that zesty vibe, but you don't smell clove. There's no clove in here. I guess the best thing I can think of is almost like an incensey, balsamy. Yeah, like incense and balsam fir, possibly. I don't know what the notes are. Just gonna have to take my word for it, I guess. Anyway, home for the holidays. You can tell, you can see I've loved this candle a bit. All right. Ah, man, too many Yankees in here. All right, I'm gonna go over one more. This is a new one. This is a new one. I got a little one of this. Okay, so here's the deal. So they have these kind of buy two get four free. I don't know. They have these crazy deals around the holidays. So me and my wife, another candle enthusiast, my wife, we usually divvy it up. So she gets two, I get two. That's it. Like her taste. She likes more spring scents than I do. I don't care for spring too much. There are some things I like, and we'll probably, eventually get to those. But you know, I like the Christmassy, Halloweeny, or year-round kind of vibes. But so I already picked my two, but then there's this one, and I had another candle that was similar to this, but then I just had to get this one. And this one is Conductor's Coal. Now they had like a whole train lineup. They had like a Polar Express thing, which I didn't quite care for, or at least it wasn't to my taste. There might be some in there that are pretty decent, but I didn't gravitate toward it. But then right before we left, we saw this whole other section, and it had all this other kind of train themed stuff that wasn't related to Polar Express at all, and those were amazing. And this is one of them, Conductor's Coal. So let's give it a sniff. You see I burned a little bit. This would be a studio one for sure. Oh man, this is an excellent candle. And again, so I'm going to compare this a little bit to Coming Down the Chimney from Goose Creek, and that's why I didn't get the full one of this. It's because it kind of, they do similar things. And but whereas Coming Down the Chimney gives me a kind of like an antique store vibe. It has that kind of pipe tobacco-y smell, but it has that added kind of nostalgia in there. This one is more just the pipe tobacco. And I know they're going for coal, they're going for, Conductor's Coal, that's the theme. Smoke, coal. I can't remember what coal smells like, so if it smells like this, let's get some coal going. But this reminds me, I had a girlfriend in middle school whose father smoked a pipe, and he had like a kind of like a cherry tobacco, and it smelled really good, and that's what this smells like. So it's a kind of like a pipe tobacco scent, and it's excellent. And again, this could be like a Halloween candle if they wanted it to be. And for this little thing, it actually threw, which I was kind of shocked by. I kind of just, being a maniac that I am, that collects candles in their 40s, so I was content just to have this just sniff around every once in a while. Go, oh, it smells good, and then put it down, But when I started to burn it, I burned it in the living room. It was kind of next to me, though. I was on like a table that was kind of close to me. I could smell it really well. So it threw. I was shocked. I mean, as we all know, Yankee can be hit or miss these days, and this one's definitely a hit. So I may, depending on sales or whatnot, have to get the big one on this one for sure. Conductor's Coal by the Yankee. All right, let's get out of the Yankee territory for a minute. Calamity. All right. We're going to go back to that Goose Creek. Look at this. If you don't know, you're about to know. Look at that. North Pole Magic. I got this for Christmas about 2 or 3 years ago. And I was kind of surprised because, you know, you get a Christmas candle on Christmas. It's like season passed, you know. What am I going to do with this? I sniffed this bad boy. I've never smelled a candle like this since. Well, there are some close ones that come close, but this is the first I've ever smelled of anything like this. And I don't even know how to describe it. I'm going to do my best here. It's just such a comforting, cozy. The world is 1,000 miles away. You're home. You're watching movies. You're reading a book. You're listening to music. You're alone. Everyone's away. Go away. We don't need you here. We're chilling. We have good vibes. This is what you're smelling. Kind of almost like a cashmere-y, blankety smell. It has a little bit of a frost note, a little bit of that what candle people like to say, snow, like a snow smell, which is kind of whatever peppermint does to your nose, but it doesn't smell like peppermint. It's kind of, if you mixed the freshness of a peppermint with like a warm sweater out of a dryer, maybe a tad bit of lemon or lavender, but not that sharp, angry lavender. That soft, comforting, fall asleep lavender. But to be honest, if you smelt this, you probably wouldn't say lavender right off the bat. You would just, I don't know what you say. Say what you want. I don't know. But North Pole Magic. And if anyone out there is familiar with this and knows of maybe a rebranding that they have of this that's called something else, let me know. Because I don't think they make this anymore. That's why I haven't burned it. Because I don't want to lose that. And look at that label. I mean, come on, let's get cozy in here. Again, you know, I'm an artist. I can be snobby with art, whatever. And people would cherry pick, you know, labels and oh, it's you know, clip art, whatever. I don't care when it comes to candles. It's just like, this is chilling. We're just relaxing here. Look at that. That's North Pole magic. It's magic. Throughout the whole year. The North Pole doesn't have to stay at Christmas time. This is North Pole in, I don't know, what is that? March. North Pole in March. Excellent. All right. Okay. Back to the small batches. This one was kindly sent to me along with another order. And it is small, but it is mighty. And it has been the Christmas studio candle of the season. And that is Longing for Christmas by South of Sanity. Look at that. It's so sad. I wonder what the angel's up to. I gotta talk to him about this label. I'm kind of curious what the whole story is here. We got an angel, you got reindeer. Santa ain't looking happy. He's longing for, he's like, can you get Christmas here? I'm kind of bored. I need to give presents to someone or something. Longing for Christmas. I don't know how this dude does it. I honestly don't. Such unique scents. Okay. Vanilla. There's vanilla in here. But there's this kind of almost metallic scent behind it. I'm only saying metallic because I can't think of another word, but that same scent also reminds me of the smell of wrapping paper. And I have this kind of memory of unwrapping presents and the smell of the paper. And I have no idea. I don't think there's a note that says wrapping paper or like an oil that, oh, wrapping paper, you know, like. But so there's that, and that's kind of like a papery note. And then you got the vanilla. There's probably a little spice in there, maybe a hint of cinnamon. But this you can see I burned a lot in here, and this thing throws. It throws. And I talked with Virgil about this, and he didn't think it would be strong enough, and that's why he moved to these 2-wick jars, which I totally get. And it feels nice and formable. It feels a contender to some of these bigger jars. Well, this thing did the job. It did it well, and look how evenly that burned. No tunneling whatsoever. Completely even. I mean, you're gonna get some stuff around the jar, but that's just normal. Everybody gets that. This is such a good candle. I can't get over how good this one is. And if he makes it, I don't think he made this as a 2-wick this year or anything. I think he did make the wax melts for it, which I think they're probably still on his site. If you don't have them, then get them, because this is going to be burning throughout the whole winter. Excellent. Longing for Christmas. And I'm also going to do a quick shout out to Rustic Christmas. This was amazing as well. And another thing I will say for his wax melts, they go and go. Like, they don't lose scent. Excellent. Excellent stuff. As always. As always. Alright, let's keep it going. Try to shut this jar. How long is this video going? That's what you're thinking right now if you haven't clocked out already. Let's see. Oh, jeez. I'm at a half hour here. Oh, well, you know, that's life. Alright. Maybe I'll edit it down. Okay. I think I'm going to try to narrow this. Well, yeah. I'm going to narrow it down to 2 more. Alright, we're going with Goose Creek, that old-fashioned Christmas. Look at this. Look at this. You got Rudolph there, vintage label. Look at it. Look at all that. A little messy with the wicks there, Todd. A little messy. But this is a quintessential Christmas candle. Now, what I used to think about for Christmas candles, like initially that got me into it, is that balsam tree scent. This is it. This is the perfect tree candle. But there's a little vanilla in there too. There's a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon, you know, so it's not purely a tree scent. It is, in fact, an old-fashioned Christmas. An old-fashioned Christmas scent. That's what they're going for. And they got it. I remember when we first started to burn this, it actually, the scent changed. It changed on me. It kind of, I didn't think it was going to be as strong as it is. And this sucker is strong. I mean, ridiculously strong. So strong, in fact, that sometimes I had to like just put it out because it was giving me a headache. And that's hard. That's hard for me. You know, someone so insane that burns candles all the time that turn off a candle. But that's a testament to the power of the old-fashioned Christmas. I'd say this one has been well loved this year, for sure. My wife likes it as well, so there's a little bit of that wrapping paper smell too. I don't know. All right. So I have two here, and I think I'm just going to talk about the one. And I'll leave the other one out. The other one, I think, is one of my all-time favorites. But I only bring it one this year. So let's do something new. And I'm going back. Last time, I promise, to Yankee Candle with frosted tracks. Look at that label. Look at that. Choo choo train. Chugga chugga choo choo. And you know what else? This sucker, I think it's going to go all winter long, my friend. The theming isn't too strong on this for Christmas, but definitely, you know, full express, whatnot. Okay, this is excellent. Very similar. Very similar. A bit more minty. This one has a little bit more of a mint smell. Again, though, they're not saying, they're whispering mint, mint. They're not saying mint, you know, there's a difference. So it has little notes on here. I'll read them. Icy snow, fresh cypress. Yes. So you get that tree scent. It's in the background. It's a forest. You're walking through the forest. It's not Lysol. It's not that car freshener Christmas tree scent. It's beautiful, lush, soft. Cypress. Oh my God. All right, let's take a sip of this. But I will say, man, whatever that train lineup that they had this year, all those smelled really good. This is probably my favorite in the lineup, aside from the coal. And give it on a... This could be better on certain days. But this performs. It fills a room. I am pleasantly surprised because I've only got one Yankee for Halloween this year. Magical Tarot. And it was good. Very good scent. Did not throw. Like, I'd have to stand right over it to sniff it. Or sniff it on cold. That's all I could do. It might do okay in the studio. I've been burned in the studio, but this sucker throws. So kudos to Yankee for that lineup. All right. Hope you're all feeling festive. That does it. It's not a tiered list, but yeah, these are some of my favorites this year so far. There's a lot I left out because, God, I mean, this thing's almost 40 minutes, you know. If you're here to the end, thank you. I appreciate it. You're insane. Just like me. Thanks. Now we're part of a club, an insane club of people talking about candles online. I hope you all have a safe and happy, healthy holiday and a fantastic new year. I might do another video for the new year. Maybe a top winter or new year. I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. Just winging it here. And I think I'm gonna call it. So, oh yeah, I've got a little time. I might do that in a separate video. I don't know. So, yes, I have a little holiday painting to share with you all. Check it out. If it's not after this, then it will be in another video shortly following. Thank you all very much. I love you all.